Sunday Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is presented by Hyundai. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, it's the series finale between the Houston Astros and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Good afternoon, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies, to see if the Astros can snap their club record 12-game losing streak. They've come close several times. They lost another close one last night, J.D.
After getting blown out in the desert by the Diamondbacks, it's been very close this weekend with the Pirates, a 2-run game, 2 one-run games, but the Astros still looking to break this long losing streak. A good pitching matchup for you here this afternoon. James McDonald, hard-throwing right-hander, having a very nice year for the Buccos, 10-4 with a 3.15 ERA, but since the All-Star break, his ERA is over 8. Lucas Harrell, you see his number, 7-7, an ERA just above 4. He has the 4th best home ERA in the National League at 1.89.
We'll see if on Sunday Baseball, Lucas Harrell can lead the Astros into the win column again in the series finale before heading off to Milwaukee and Atlanta on the road trip. Final game of the series comes your way next.
And by Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack combo for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Greg Lucas on the field. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies in the booth with big news if you weren't with us for the pregame show, guys.
Well, Patty Smith had that live interview with Chris Johnson, who has been traded today. As we got the news at Minute Maid Park, the players were waiting in the clubhouse for the player personnel move with Steve Pearce joining the club. Somebody had to go. It was Chris Johnson, traded to Arizona for infielder outfielder Bobby Borcherding. He was a number 1 draft choice, the 16th overall pick in 09. He's 21. He's a premier player. Mark Krause has done well also at AA Mobile with 15 homers, 61 RBIs. He was a second-round pick in 09. Well, that's the take from Jeff Luhnow, and he now has 13 minor leaguers plus 2 players to be named for a total of 15 young players obtained in these 5 July deals. And Lucas Harrell is ready to pitch to Starling Marte, leading off this game. Marte made his debut Thursday night and hit the first pitch he has seen in the big leagues for a homer. He's 2 for 13 in this series. So there are still some rumblings from that trade as the fans find out about it. There is ball one. And we'd like to thank Chris Johnson for being a true professional, being a great guy to deal with, and wish him all the best with Arizona.
Exciting time for him. Joins the D-backs in the thick of the race out there in the Western Division.
Hyundai brings you the starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're 2 games behind Cincinnati. They go with Starling Marte, Alex Presley, Neil Walker, Garrett Jones, Casey McGee, Pedro Alvarez, Michael McHenry, Jordy Mercer, and James McDonald. 1 out, and it's Presley coming up next. At 2:36, Alex has 8 homers. He's driven in 16.
Well, the Astros trying to snap this losing streak. They turned to a pretty good guy here in Lucas Harrell. Check out those numbers. 189 his ERA here at Minute Maid Park. If you're looking for a stopper, he may be the guy.
Presley back in left field with those numbers as Andrew McCutchen is getting a rest today. He was an all-star and his last day off was July 1st. So that puts Marte in center and Presley back in left. He's been playing some right field in this series. No balls, 2 strikes.
Look at this curveball there from Harrell. You look at his last 3 outings. How about that? Just 1 earned run in each of those 3 ball games for Harrell. He's got it going on. He takes the mound with a lot of confidence these days.
Presley has hit homers in his last 2 games here.
You know, these prospects that the Astros got in this deal with the Diamondbacks, fairly well regarded. Jonathan Mayo at MLB.com, who stays on top of such things, has Bortring as the number 11 prospect in the Diamondback organization. Krause he had listed at number 20. Both guys have plenty of power in their bats.
Bortring 6'3" and 200. He's rated the best power hitter in the D-backs organization this year. Presley strikes out.
Well, let's take a look at the Astros defensively. Typically, when Harrell's on the mound, a lot of work for the infielders, but we'll look first at the outfield. Jordan Schaefer back in there. And as you look at the infield, you'll notice a new face over at first base. Steve Pearce, acquired yesterday, arriving in the lineup today, playing first base. He's a guy who plays first and the outfield. He's had big league time with the Pirates and was with Baltimore earlier this year.
Neil Walker is the batter. He shoots that one foul right off the leg, it looked like, of Garrett Jones in the on-deck circle. He was skipping to get out of the way, but it caromed off him, it appeared. Strike 1 to Walker, who's hit .314 in his career at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, where he's positioned there in the on-deck circle, you would normally be fairly safe. That's kind of hard to hit the ball that far behind you.
Yes, it is. It's a bit late on that.
Jones. Hey, Neil, have some coffee, man. Speed it up a little bit. What are the chances?
That's a very late result. Neil hit a homer in last night's game. He was also hit by a pitch. Harrell delivers, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. The Pirates have won 16 of their last 22. They're on a 10-game road trip. They go to Colorado next and then Cincinnati for Clint Hurdle, the team he is chasing right now. That's over the corner. Strike 3 call. A very quick first for Lucas Harrell. The Astros come up in just a moment. up with the Hyundai lineup showing Jose Altuve leading off. Marwin Gonzalez batting second. It's J.D. Martinez in left field. Scott Moore at third base. Steve Pearce at first. Brian Bogusevic in right. Chris Snyder the catcher. Jordan Schaefer in center. Lucas Harrell the pitcher.
Right-hander James McDonald on the bump for the Pirates this afternoon. You see what he did before the All-Star break. Outstanding work at 9-3 with a .237. Since then, he has really scuffled, but he's a good one. He's pitched twice against the Astros this year and thrown the ball very well both times.
Jose Altuve gets it going for Houston. Tapping this one foul by the third baseman Alvarez for strike one.
Well, let's take a look at the Buccos defensively. Andrew McCutchen, you'll notice, not in the lineup today. Marte slides over to center field. Jordy Mercer making his fifth start at shortstop, giving Clint Barmas a day off.
Altuve takes and it's strike two call. Jim Wolf is the home plate umpire. Altuve 296, 112 hits, 342 on base average. That was a little dribbler out to Jordy Mercer. He throws quickly and gets him. Good play by Mercer.
Ball got in on him, jammed him, induced a weak little ground ball, but Altuve busting it down the line forced Mercer to come hard and made a good aggressive play.
Marwin Gonzalez is trying to snap it 0 for 15. He is 2 for 21 on this homestand. The Astros will be heading for Milwaukee. Pirates are leaving for Chicago, not Colorado, as I said. They'll be playing the Cubs next. It's strike one to Gonzalez, who has a 299 on base average, trying to reach for J.D. Martinez. 252 overall for Marwin with a homer. He's driven in 5.
Donald has good breaking stuff. He throws both a slider and a curveball. Good action on both those pitches. He'll throw 2 and a 4-seam fastball and a once in a great while changeup. He doesn't use his changeup much, but he'd use that slow curveball as an off-speed weapon.
Time call. He's 1-1 against Houston this year, although he's pitched well in both games. He lost a 1-0 game to Bud Norris at Pittsburgh in May. So in those 2 starts, he's combined for a 1.80 ERA. Toward the left field line, a long run for Presley. The shortstop Mercer looking out, and Presley gets there. 2 down. J.D. Martinez follows. He was in the 5th spot in the original lineup with Chris Johnson batting 3rd before the Chris Johnson trade was announced. J.D. at 244 with 11 homers has driven in 52. He's 3 for 12 with an RBI in this series. That one sails high for ball 1 from the 27-year-old right-hander from Long Beach, California. McDonald, an 11th round pick by the Dodgers in 2002. Traded for Octavio Dotel in the middle of the 2010 season. 2 balls, no strikes. He was 9-9 last year with a 4.21 ERA. But there were 6 blown saves in his starts last year. 3-0. A.J. Burnett has racked up 12 wins with 3 losses to lead the Pirates starting staff. That's a 4-pitch walk.
It's a fairly deep rotation that the Pirates have. They don't have a big-time front man. I mean, Burnett's having a nice year. McDonald's having a real nice year, but you wouldn't put those guys in the category of Roy Halladay or that type of guy. But still, a very deep rotation, and made it a little bit deeper with the acquisition of Wandy Rodriguez.
Scott Moore, who's 2 for 9 in this series, is at 222 with the Astros. 4 homers, 11 runs batted in for Moore. Fouls that one. Moore hit a homer at Pittsburgh off McDonald the last time they met, July 2nd.
McDonald's been really tough on lefties. They're hitting just 196 against him.
Moore takes a look at it. It's 1-1.
McDonald comes from a pretty deep gene pool. His dad played in the NFL. Dad, also named James, was a tight end for the Rams. And he's the first cousin of Darnell McDonald.
Throws a strike. That makes it 1-2 with Steve Pearce on deck. Wandy Rodriguez was the starter last night. He got a no decision, giving up 3 runs in 6 innings. The Pirates won it 4-3. Pitch is up, and the night before was Jeff Karstens going 5 innings, allowing 4 runs. Pittsburgh took that one 6-5. In the opener of the series, A.J. Burnett got his 12th win with 7 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs. Eric Bedard has been moved back in the rotation. He'll go at Chicago tomorrow night. That was blocked out front by McHenry. It's 3-2 now, and automatically on the next pitch, J.D. Martinez will be taking off. Pirates have not swept a 4-game series in Houston since 1983. They have not swept a series on the road yet this year. Runner going. Fly ball, and the center fielder is moving over and now in for it. Marte for out number 3. No runs, no hits, 1 man left, no score.
Join us for our next Flashback Friday, presented by the Methodist Hospital System, August 10th, when the Astros take on the Brewers. The Astros will wear the 1990s blue and gold star jerseys on the field, and after the game, fans can enjoy Friday night fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com.
Thanks, Patty. First pitch here of inning number 2, fouled away by Garrett Jones, strike 1. Hey, Patty, a fan gave me something to give you, by the way. Since we're traveling today, if you wouldn't mind stopping by at some point, I can pass it along to you.
All right. My curiosity has been piqued.
No balls, 2 strikes to Garrett Jones. Leading it off with McGee and Alvarez to follow. Patty's been busy today. We haven't even seen each other. But she had the live interview with Chris Johnson in the dugout right after the trade announcement. So it was one of those days in which well, there was a lot to track, a lot of waiting around in the Astros clubhouse. Jones has hit .406 against Houston with 3 homers, 9 runs batted in. It's 2-2. Foul ball knocks the mask off Snyder.
Just going to take a little moment to regroup after this shot to the chin.
Yeah.
And just get to the corner. Lucero going to come out and check on him, make sure he's okay, not a little too foggy there. And with that in mind, how about a happy birthday today to Sophia Lucero, Nate's daughter, celebrating her 8th birthday today.
She just went on a road trip.
Yeah, Isabella and Sophia, man, they're great. They're dynamite kids.
Yeah. Here are the trades for the Astros, 5 of them in the month of July, and bringing a ton of minor league talent into the Astros organization.
Fred Nelson again has got to be scrambling to get these guys to the right clubs and make roster adjustments.
Yes.
It's nervous times down in the minor leagues for a lot of players, I'm sure, with all these acquisitions. Well, somebody's going to lose a job.
3 balls, 2 strikes for Lucas Harrell, who leads rookies in innings pitched in the National League with 123. That's in the air, and the shift was on. So here's the third baseman Moore coming over. He had to cover a lot of territory. He was halfway between second and third, and he was the only one who could have gotten there. He's playing third and short on this play.
He's playing shared. And make a little bit of a late adjustment to haul that way. Well, he's played some outfield, so he's just arranging around after fly balls. Almost overran it. Careful now.
Get that man a ticket. That's out number 1, and Casey McGee comes up. Nice for Lucas Harrell to get Jones on a foul pop like that. That ball drops uncaught. Who knows what he's going to do? 232 for McGee, 8 homers, 35 batted in. And he looks at ball 1.
This Pirate Club entered June having hit 38 home runs. They've hit 74 since. On quite a roll.
They're second in the league in long balls.
Yeah. Really impressive when you consider where they play their home games. One of the tougher home run parks in baseball.
They've homered in 18 straight road games now. Scott Moore handles this 2-hopper, turning it into out number 2. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. For today's game, 2 down, and it's Pedro Alvarez now. Alvarez with 21 homers, 58 runs batted in. He's going to get a rest probably in Chicago, we're told. He's been grinding it for a while too. So Clint Hurdle trying to keep the troops fresh for the stretch drive. Keeps Alvarez in the lineup and gives McCutchen a rest today.
Those flags are blowing out at Wrigley. He won't want that day off. He'll be in Clint Hurdle's office lobbying.
Good point.
How can you do me like that, Skip?
Alvarez has been a good hitter in day games this year with 14 homers and a .303 batting average. But they're not playing a day game at Wrigley tomorrow. They're playing at night the next 2 nights. 1-1 for Harrell.
Well, Lucas got all his weapons going. I believe that was a changeup he just threw Alvarez. There's a little cutter.
1-2. Yeah, he was saying we left the park after his last start. He really likes what his cutter is doing for him this year on left-handed batters. That's a fat one, and that's banged toward the left field wall. It kicks off the advertising sign. Here's the throw into second to hold him to a single. Good play by J.D. Martinez. Getting that one quickly off the wall for an Alvarez single.
There's no chance for Alvarez to get 2. Andrew McCutchen doesn't get 2 on this one. Michael Bourne doesn't get 2 on this one. Hit on a line and right back to J.D. Martinez. No chance for Alvarez to get into scoring position.
He becomes the first base runner. That puts Harrell in the stretch, working to McHenry. McHenry takes it. It's strike 1 for Lucas. Lucas has started only once in his career against the Pirates. Got a no decision, giving up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. That was at Pittsburgh, July 3rd.
Yeah, that was that day. It was smoking hot.
Oh, that's right.
Running all around the bases and just ran out of gas.
Broken bat. It goes out to Altuve. And on over to Pierce. 6 straight. Well, 6 retired, and he allowed the hit to Alvarez, and it's a no-score situation in the second.
Astro fans, Chevy is proud to present a new show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Well, newcomer Steve Pearce is the man to lead it off here in the bottom of the second inning. No score. Pearce with Baltimore was hitting .254. He had 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. Claimed off waivers yesterday, joined the club today. 29 years old. He takes a strike from McDonald. Pearce was drafted by the Pirates in 05 in the 8th round. He's from Lakeland, Florida. Went to the University of South Carolina. Good baseball school.
Outstanding collegiate career there, including a trip to the College World Series. Started this year at Scranton Wilkes-Barre AAA club for the Yankees, and then was traded on to Baltimore.
There was a lot going on in the clubhouse. Steve Pearce was getting dressed in one corner of the clubhouse, and then all the other players were wondering who was going to be leaving today to make room for Steve. Kind of an awkward situation.
Hey, welcome. Glad to have you. I just hope you're not here to take my job.
Saw Jason Castro in that shot. He's going to be heading for Florida to continue his workouts on his knee. And he'll be able to do some catching drills for the Astros Gulf Coast League team in Kissimmee while the Astros go on this road trip. Big curveball gets McDonald a strikeout, his first.
Has that classic power pitcher profile of the high fastball and then the good over-the-top curveball. You can get a lot of strikeouts with that combination. He had 110 punch-outs coming into this game in 125 innings.
Brian Bogusevic at 214 with 6 homers has 21 runs batted in. He is 3 for 11 lifetime against McDonald. Showing bunt, and it's ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Somebody wrote that now Jeff Luhnow has been responsible for acquiring 9 of the current 25-man roster players for the Astros since he arrived on the scene, which was last fall. 3 balls, no strikes.
Trying to talk Bish out of retirement. maybe he wants to sign Cavan. Greg's son Cavan is a really well-regarded up-and-coming prospect, high schooler, slated to go to UVA right now.
2 hopper to second. 2 outs. Well, McDonald shooting for win number 11 gets the first 2 and now faces Snyder. Chris with 4 homers, 19 runs batted in, has a 178 batting average. Chris 0 for 3 in this series, 2 for 9 on the homestand. Carlos Corcoran had a little hand problem last night on that cross up in the 6th inning. It was ruled a pass ball, but he was crossed up by Wesley Wright and took one off his bare hand. The Astros feel that he's cleared for takeoff today if needed. He was hitting in the cage beforehand, so evidently Carlos is all right. Sitting next to Armando Galarraga, the starter last night. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
Galarraga, one of those players acquired by Luno. Marwin Gonzalez, Scott Moore, Ben Francisco, Cordero, Cruz. Yeah, a whole bunch of new faces. A lot more on the way.
Yeah, we don't know how third base is going to shake out. 2 balls and a strike. Scott Moore playing there today. We were looking on the pregame show at Matt Dominguez's numbers at AAA Oklahoma City. They're very good since he came in the trade with the Marlins. And then there's Brett Wallace,
who hit another home run last night.
Ooh, so a lot in the mix.
Well, I think that's, the CJ trade has probably been bubbling for a while now. And maybe that's why Jeff Luhnow has said, he'll wait till August to pull the trigger on calling up some of these guys from AAA. Want to wait for this trade deadline to pass.
According to one report, the Orioles were in on the Chris Johnson deal along with the Diamondbacks. So that can be a very good situation for a club when more than one team is interested in a player it is shopping. Drives up the price. That's ball 4. Second walk, and they both come with 2 outs in the inning. McDonald has walked 45 now. He's worked 127 innings.
His walk rate down this year. Part of the reason why he's been so successful.
Jordan Schaefer's come off the bench to steal a couple of bases in this series. He's hitting .224 with 3 homers, 20 runs batted in. Schaefer takes that one, and it's ball 1 to Jordan. At the plate, he's not had an at-bat in this series. He's 0 for 8 on this homestand. Astros during the 12-game losing streak have lost 3 of those by 1 run, 3 by 2 runs. Strike to Schaefer makes it 1-1. They've been outscored during the 12 games 82-38. Just hoping they have hit rock bottom after losing 25 of the last 27. Pirates have beaten them 9 straight times this year after an initial Houston win. That ties the Pirates club record for consecutive wins against the Astros.
It doesn't seem like it was that long ago when the Astros just beat up the Pirates all the time.
True.
That is flipped.
That's baseball. Fly ball, and the third baseman Alvarez comes over for this foul pop. Can't get to it.
There's probably a lot of clubs that are experiencing that change in their dynamic with the matchup with the Pirates. For so long, bottom dweller, and finally now playing good solid baseball. They have not been .500 or better since their last trip to the postseason. That was in 1992. So even if Hurdle doesn't get them into the postseason, fans of Pirates have to be really fired up by the way this club has turned things around, and in all likelihood will at least have a winning season this year.
They've played 100 games. They're 58-42. It's 5 games better than they were at this point last year. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Schaefer. Harrell coming up next. Schaefer has walked 32 times.
McHenry wearing that gray gear to go with his uniform. He's camouflaged. You can't even see him back there.
Looks like he's with a tank battalion or something. There's ball 4. Back-to-back walks with 2 outs. Bring up the pitcher, Harrell. McDonald didn't want to do that.
No, he sure didn't. Astros worked some walks last night off of Wandy. Wandy walked 5. And now 3 walks here for McDonald, and just kind of inexplicable walks too. 2 outs, nobody on base, and especially here at the bottom of the order when the situation calls for aggressiveness, being a little too fine.
Harrell has 8 hits, .216 batting average, 1 RBI.
Harrell's going to turn on one here. He's ready to swing.
Yeah, he might just be taking this one into his own hands today. Trying to give himself a lead. Wait a minute now. Here's a visit from Ray Searage. He doesn't like these walks, and then ball 1 to the pitcher.
Well, it's been we talked about McDonald having his issues since the All-Star break with that high ERA. The last 3 starts he has walked 12 total.
That'll get the attention of Ray Searage.
In that game against the Astros back on July 2nd, he pitched quite well, allowed just 2 runs, but he did walk 5 in that ball game as well. Only allowed 4 hits. So maybe there's some method to his madness. He just doesn't want to give in.
Yeah, 40 pitches so far. Last time out, he lost 5-1 to the Cubs, giving up 5 hits, 5 runs in 6 innings. Harrell takes it. It's a strike. That makes it 1-1. San Diego 2, Miami nothing. They're in the top of the 5th at Miami. Josh Johnson going for the Marlins, but how much longer will he be a Marlin? A lot of talk about him. Big cut there, makes it 1-2. Detroit trying to beat Toronto. The Blue Jays have been tough on the Tigers this weekend. It's 3-1 Detroit, bottom of the 5th in Toronto. Atlanta leads the Phillies 3-1. They're in the top of the 4th. Chipper Jones hit his 10th. Jason Hayward number 16. Now 2-2 to Harrell.
Tell you what, Chipper Jones is going out in a blaze of glory. He's having a real nice year.
Yeah. And a strikeout for McDonald ends the 2nd inning. Strikeout number 2. No score. AT has trivia for us. And the question of the day is, who is the Astros all-time single season leader in multi-hit games? Well, I'm going to guess that guy.
Yeah.
They might be trying to sucker us into the wrong guess, though. That often happens, JD.
Well, if it's not Bige, then who is it? Let's assume. Let's just go with the red herring theory that they've just thrown a little diversion our way.
Maybe Cheo.
Single season hit leaders. But if you're the so you think of who the guys with the single season hit leaders, with Ergo being on that list of multi-hit games. So Cheo.
Yeah.
Enos Cabell had a year with a bunch of hits.
True. Jordy Mercer at 238. There's no runs batted in.
Tejada had a bunch of hits one year.
Oh, yeah. I think it's Tejada. Strike one to Mercer. I think you're on to something there. Mercer's from Tologa, Oklahoma. Went to Oklahoma State.
Lance and Baggy walked so much.
Yeah.
I would be a little bit surprised if it was either one of those guys.
It might be Dickie Thon. 1-2.
CC.
Yeah, he'd be another good candidate. Maybe even Terry Poole.
Keep lobbing darts.
2 balls, 2 strikes. We still don't have it.
Really? After all those names, we've got down the end of this is unprecedented list of Astro greats.
Yes.
We still have not hit it.
Good grief.
Wow.
Jimmy Wynn. Bob Watson. 3 balls, 2 strikes. This is getting intriguing now. It was in '98. Moises Alou. Derek Bell. Finally got it. Wow. Harrell with a good play. That's out number 1. It took us a few guesses. What, about 20?
Yeah, we did. We kind of. That's an F. We got an F for that one.
Yes.
Way too many chances.
61 multi-hit games.
DB used to roll up in his Bentley with a big bucket of Church's fried chicken.
He sure did.
Into the dome.
That's how he rolled. James McDonald takes strike 1. He has 6 hits and 38 at bats, a 158 average. White Sox got Francisco Liriano from the Twins in a trade yesterday. That should be interesting. You were talking about him the other day about how inconsistent he is. He could be great one game and then awful another game.
Weird.
McDonald's down on strikes. That's number 3 for Lucas Harrell.
There's a theory out there that says inconsistency is the key to success.
Oh,
yeah. Because you learn from your inconsistency.
Okay.
I mean, there comes a point where you want to smooth that out, but
right.
We're always demanding. You hear Millsy all the time. We just need to be a little more consistent. Maybe we need to be more inconsistent, because consistent. Right now they are being consistent. Is consistently bad.
That's not the kind of consistency you're looking for there. 12 straight losses. Strike 1 to Marte. He bangs one, and there's a good quick reaction to the left by Scott Moore for out number 3. Good pace for Lucas Harrell, and this ball game moves swiftly to the bottom of the 3rd scoreless.
Center making cancer history. It was on this date in 1989. And Craig Biggio became the first Houston catcher in over 20 years to bat leadoff. He went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Houston beat the Giants 8-1. However, it was good he did not stay a leadoff catcher, because in that very year he did it 17 times and only hit .239. He also did it 14 times in 91 and hit .281, which is right around his career average. So he was getting the hang of it by then, before they switched him to second base.
Jose Altuve takes ball 1, third inning underway for the Astros. Altuve grounded out to shortstop in the first. McDonald has walked 3. He has not given up a hit through the first 2. He's high with that one, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count. It's Cleveland nothing, Minnesota nothing. They're in the top of the third at Minnesota. Altuve fouls it and makes it 2-1 now.
Big hack there from Jose. 2-0. He was sitting dead red, and he took a mighty rip.
Milwaukee will be the Astros' destination later today. The Brewers are leading 2-1 after 1.5 over Washington. 3-1. Steve Lombardozzi hit his second home run for Washington. There's a leadoff walk. That's the 4th walk from McDonald. Let's see. It's Estrada, Gallardo, and Fires against the Astros in Milwaukee. Monday through Wednesday. The Wednesday game's a day game. Marwin Gonzalez hit a fly ball to left in the first inning. He's been slumping. We'll see if he's going to try to bunt here with J.D. Martinez on deck.
I hope not. I hope Altuve steals second, and then he hits a base hit to right.
It's a good plan.
I like that plan.
Well, stealing is a thought, certainly against the Pirates. McHenry's thrown out 4 of 22. The Astros are 8 for 8 in steals against the Pirates this year. Throw goes over to first. The Pirates have allowed 83 stolen bases in 92 attempts this season. That's Rogers pitching today for Milwaukee against Gio Gonzalez for Washington. And another throw drives Altuve back. Jose with 18 steals in 24 tries. Cubs got a run in the first. They lead St. Louis after 1-0. Paul Maholm going for Chicago today. St. Louis has Adam Wainwright on the mound. Gonzalez looks at ball 1.
Yeah, might just take a strike here before you try to do anything. Might take a risk of trying to steal a base and possibly getting thrown out if McDonald's going to continue to walk people.
Exactly. It's a very good plan. Alvarez creeping in at third. That is a strike, and it's 1-1. Astros minor league teams now are a combined 235 and 187 for a 557 winning percentage. Their top 4 teams last year, the top 4 had a 380 winning percentage. That is a huge improvement. The Lancaster Class A outfield trio of Domingo Santana, Telvin Nash, and George Springer have combined for 60 homers, 51 doubles, 13 triples, and 204 runs batted in.
Springer has joined the 2020 club with 20 home runs and 20 steals.
Wow. There was a scout from the Yankees, Ron Brand, who used to catch for the Astros back in the mid-'60s, who saw Springer hit those 4 home runs at Lancaster. He said he thought, he didn't know if they were on 4 consecutive pitches, but he did know they were on 4 consecutive swings. Runner going. Ground ball behind the shortstop. Mercer can't prevent it from going by him. And Altuve gets to third. And here into second is Gonzalez. He caught the Pirates in a lapse, and he hustled into second base. On a well-executed hit-and-run play, he slapped the ball. Mercer trying to get back, got leather on it, and then the ball was just out there between him and Presley, and Gonzalez saw the opportunity to take second.
Yeah, you see the end of the play. Mercer had broken to cover second base with Altuve on the move, and couldn't handle that sharp ground ball by Gonzalez, who then does the rest with his legs, taking advantage of Mercer being a little bit lackadaisical going after the carom off of his glove. So give Marwin his 8th double as the Astros set up shop here, second and third, nobody out.
JD Martinez, the batter. He walked on 4 pitches. Swings at that breaking ball. He's the RBI leader on the Astros with 52. That one back, and it's no balls, 2 strikes to JD. He's hitting .289 with men in scoring position. Scott Moore's on deck.
Dial it up a notch. Way behind that one.
White Sox are at Texas tonight. It's Gavin Floyd against Scott Feldman in that matchup. White Sox are looking strong atop the AL Central right now. Fly ball out to right field. Jones with the catch. Here's the tag. Altuve's coming to the plate to make it 1-0. Sacrifice fly. Martinez, who was behind in the count, 0-2. Got it deep enough for RBI number 53 of the year.
Finally making McDonald pay for a walk. He's struggled with his command, put base runners on. The Astros had not been able to cash in until this. Nice job with 2 strikes by JD. Staying back on a tough breaking ball and popping it into right field to get Altuve home.
And it's 1-0 with Moore looking for more. Scott hit a 3-2 pitch to center field in the first. Jones threw in toward third to hold Gonzalez at second base. Well, the folks doing the transactions at Major League Baseball have been kept busy with the Astros paperwork this month, haven't they?
Cool. They're probably calling Jeff. You got anything for me today?
Jeff, we haven't heard from you in a half an hour. What's going on down there?
Everything okay?
Ball 1. Red Wallace, last 10 games, 344. George Springer, 331. You talked about the 2020 club for him. Nolan Fontana has done well at Lexington. But Brady Rogers.
After a good start in his professional career, he was the Astros, what, 3rd round pick?
Yes. Arizona State.
Number 1 overall. Carlos Correa, after a slow start, has turned it on lately.
He was hurt. He was down for a while.
If I'm Ray Searage, I get McDonald in the dugout between innings and say, come on, man, we're in the still early stages of this game, and you're just slowing this thing to a crawl. You're treating Marwin Gonzalez like he's Ricky Henderson out there trying to hold him on. He threw over like 6 times on Altuve. They don't throw anybody out anyway, so why waste all this energy and concentration with the running game when you can't find home plate? It's one thing if you're locked in and you're throwing a lot of strikes, but when you're having a hard time finding the zone to focus that much attention on base runners, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. And his fielders too. The pace, it's tough to play behind a guy who's so deliberate, taking so much time.
Moore takes a look at it, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes now. We talked about Brady Rogers. The top 4 starters for Tri-City are combined 17-3. They include Rogers, and their ERAs are combined at 2.03. Foul ball back. Good cut by Moore. Still 2-2. Ryan Holmes is one of the starters, a lefty, 4-1 with a 255 at Tri-City. He was 1 inning shy of a perfect game Friday night in the second game of a doubleheader. They played 7-inning doubleheader games there. Now 3-2. Steve Pearce is on deck.
Well, last time Scott got a fastball. I believe it was a 3-2 count last time. 2 fastball out away from him. He tried to pull it and hit a lazy fly ball to center. So we have to go back out there on him. Well, it looked like McHenry was going to sneak in.
Brian McTaggart of MLB.com, Astros.com, is tweeting that Borcherding and Krause will report to AA Corpus Christi after the trade for Chris Johnson today. That's another walk. That's number 5 for McDonald. And Pearce will come up. Steve obviously not suffering from triskaidekaphobia, wearing the former Billy Wagner, number 13. He struck out in the second inning.
Here comes Ray Searage again, and McHenry, you can just tell the look on McDonald's face that he just feels lost out there right now.
Searage is wearing out a path to the mound. Ball 1 has been thrown to 8 of 13 batters by James McDonald. They try to figure it out with runners at first and second, 1 out, and Pearce waiting, and then Bogusevic on deck. Pirates are in the middle of the pack in ERA by starting pitchers. 64 pitches thrown by McDonald. Pearce had a 2-2 count when he whiffed back in the second inning. Steve hit .202 for the Pirates last year, 94 at bats. He's a first baseman and a corner outfielder. Here's ball 1. 1-0 Houston on the sac fly by J.D. Martinez here in the third inning a few minutes ago. McDonald has walked 5. His mound opponent, Lucas Harrell, has not walked anybody through 3. Just joining us, Chris Johnson traded earlier today for the Arizona Diamondbacks for 2 young players. Infielder Bobby Borcherding, and outfielder Mark Krause.
Borcherding, a switch hitter, slugger, 18 bombs, 60 driven in at Class A Visalia. He was an all-star there.
Bouncer third, Alvarez to second, and then Walker with the turn on a 5-4-3 double play. 1 run, 1 hit for Houston. 1 man stranded. 1-0 Astros after 3.
And Guys Night Out, presented by Kielbasa and Budweiser, is available every Thursday home game, including August 9th versus the Nationals. Purchase a loaded ticket that includes a Field Box 2-seat, Astros cap, sausage dog, and value draft beer or soda for just $30. Root now and buy tickets at astros.com/Guys Night. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. 1-0 Astros moving to the 4th inning.
When's Guys Night?
Thursdays.
I'm coming.
That's strike one to Alex Presley. Well, maybe we could get you a night off so you could be out there with the guys enjoying it. Would you like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Presley struck out in the 1st inning. Got more in. Oh, ball slapped right at him. He was in tight and hit right to him. Quick reaction for out number 1.
Marte tried him at the end of the last inning. He made a nice play, and this time Johnny on the spot to handle this sharp smash off the bat of Presley. Got to play him because of his speed and ability to bunt.
That's one out, and it's Walker who's called out looking back in the 1st. Bobby Borchering. Not Bobby Borcherding as I was pronouncing it. I'm just trying to find out more on him. He was recently promoted to Double-A and had struggled there at Mobile, hitting 130 in 21 games. But he'll stay at Double-A for the Astros, going to Corpus. One ball, one strike for Lucas Harrell. Astros pitchers doing much better at home than on the road. 3.67 ERA at home this year. Harrell's is 1.89. Missing down and in with ball 2.
And the Astros, of course, having just an awful time winning period right now. But for a long time they were pretty good here at home, above 500. But just awful on the road. So that's the thing. After today, they got to go back out on the road. So it'd be nice to get this W here today, lift everybody's spirits a little bit. One guy in the rotation who had held his own away from Minute Maid Park was Wandy, but he's a Pirate now.
He is?
That's what I'm hearing. A little swashbuckling Wandy. Probably got a patch over his eye.
He's probably in the Astros clubhouse right now trying to steal stuff.
Probably giving CJ a ride to the airport.
3 balls and a strike. Holding people at sword point. That's ball 4. 1 out walk to Walker. Puts him aboard for Jones.
How fitting. There's Wandy. He worked last night for the Pirates. Threw the ball pretty well. Gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Walked 5. The Astros showed a lot of patience in that game as well, laying off his curveball. He got a no decision.
Garrett Jones popped out on the foul pop caught by Moore. Infield shift was on now with a runner at first. It's a little different alignment. He looks at ball 1.
Lucas will try to get him to offer it either that sinker down and away or a cutter in on his hands. If Jones tries to pull, and a lot of times a guy like Jones in this situation will try to pull the ball through that hole on the right side with a man on base. But if he tries to do that with a good sinker away, there's your double play ball. And that's what Harold's got in mind.
It's a foul ball. 1-1. Bud Norris goes tomorrow night in Milwaukee against Marco Estrada. Airtime 6:30 for Astros Live. Kevin Eschenfelder is on his way.
Hey, look at that.
Got something to put in that glove now.
He is jacked up.
Oh, yeah. Good day. Now back, and it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. A good turnout last night. 34,146. A lot of them got the Chris Burke bobbleheads. This one gets away, and that will allow Walker to advance to second.
On the dirt, that'll go as a wild pitch. Chris will tell you he should have at least gotten a piece of this one, but the way it kicked back on him, see how that breaking ball hit in the dirt and kicked back the other way. He wasn't able to get a piece of it, hit the umpire's leg, and an easy advance for Walker. So there goes the double play.
And smack, and watch it fly.
There's the shutout, and there goes the lead.
2-run homer, Garrett Jones, number 16 of the season. Pirates lead it 2-1 as Jones drives in Walker. That gives him 49 runs batted in.
Wow, the Pirates continue this assault since the beginning of June, and that was a big fly. They've hit a number of them here in this series. None bigger than that one. And he leaned into that one. Way up.
Boy, we don't see many hit up there that high. That's his 4th long ball against Astros pitching. He hit one Thursday night.
And again, it speaks to the depth of the lineup and having power in your lineup. All the walks the Astros have drawn, and they managed to score just 1 run. The Pirates have walked 1, and then boom, home run, and they have the lead.
Center fielder Schaefer tracks it deep. Makes a retreating catch. 2 down.
So as Jeff Luhnow continues to build this portfolio of minor league talent, he's acquired a lot of pitching. So it's nice now he picks up a couple of big bats, big power numbers for both those guys. And the other kid, Klaus, his on base plus slugging is up over 900. So he's a more patient guy. He has pop, but he's also drawn a lot of walks. Borchering is a little bit I've been able to read about him. He's more of a tools guy, raw power, but some holes. He strikes out a fair bit, needs to tighten things up in terms of plate discipline, but a guy with a lot of upside.
Kraus hit 283 for Mobile. 15 homers, 61 runs batted in, 416 on base average, 509 slugging.
Kraus. I think I said Klaus. Kraus.
Well, I said Borcherding, and it's Borchering, so we're still learning these guys. Who are these people?
Well, and the players, all those minor league guys, they're probably going to be able to identify themselves as, are you pre or post Jeff? Are you pre Luhnow or post Luhnow?
The Luhnow era. They, though the Astros under Jeff Luhnow are going for a lot of high draft choices in these deals, guys who were 1st round, 2nd round, 4th round. And I read somewhere that the players that they had accumulated before this deal had signed for a collective something like $10 million in signing bonuses and signing money when they were drafted, and are considered to be worth about twice that now. And that's a lot of what's going on. I was reading about the Wandy deal. A quote from Jeff Luhnow. Wandy's making about $13 million a year, but could he get that on the free agent market right now? Probably not. So you have to strike a value for that player with the team you're trying to make a trade with. So let's say the value you strike is $8 million a year. Well, then it's up to us to come up with $5 million a year, roughly, if we want prospects in return. It's that kind of a discussion that takes place routinely on these trades. Swing and a miss. Good change up there from Harrell, but the 2-run homer by Jones has given the Buccos a 2-1 lead.
brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Ask for Flo. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money. Sleep happy. We've shown you Sam Houston at the entrance to his park before. There's the full schmear.
This is it for Sam.
That's it.
Astros don't win this one. He's out.
There's a shot to right field on a line. Bogusevic hitting it to Jones. One pitch, one out in the fourth for McDonald, who gets aggressive after walking 5 in the first 3. And Snyder will follow. Chris drew one of those walks on a 3-2 pitch back in the second inning. Jordan Schaefer's coming up next. Kevin Correa was the odd man out in the Wandy Rodriguez deal. He's in the bullpen now for the Pirates. Even though he was pitching better than McDonald in recent games, Correa's won 6 in a row. McDonald delivers ball 1. McDonald worked 171 innings last year, and that's his high for a major league season. And that's what a lot of people look at with this Pirate club because of the collapse last year. Now our guys in the last 2 months of the season. 2 balls, no strikes. McCutcheon's getting a rest today with a stellar season underway, perhaps an MVP year.
I think if you had to vote right now, he'd be the guy.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Matt Kemp finally healthy again, swinging it well for the Dodgers. Probably make a lot of noise between now and October.
Yeah. Hanley Ramirez has come alive too, but those numbers are glittering by McCutcheon, along with his defensive work. 3 balls and a strike. Well, many think the McDonald trade for Dotel, though, was one of the best moves the Pirates have made in recent years. 3-2. McDonald started 4 times last year against the Astros with a 1.80 ERA in those 4 starts. That one goes foul. It's still a full count. Snyder draws another free pass. Well, if nothing else, the Astros are forcing McDonald into a high pitch count. He's at 75 for the game now. 37 strikes.
Throwing more balls than strikes.
Schaefer drew another of those walks. You see the breakdown on McDonald. He also went to a 3-2 count in the second inning. Roy Halladay reached his 2,000th strikeout milestone today. Schaefer looks at ball 1. That was in the first inning of the game against the Braves at Turner Field when he struck out David Ross. Two and 0. Astros got their run in the last inning on a J.D. Martinez sacrifice fly, scoring Jose Altuve.
How long before Clint Hurdle gets somebody up in the Pirate bullpen?
Boy. Don't know if Correa is deemed to be available today or not. That's a drive to right field. Schaefer smacks one into the seats, and the Astros grab the lead again. 3-2 on a 2-run jack by Schaefer, his 4th of the year. He got a 2-0 pitch and rifled it to the kid in right field.
Wow, that kid just earned his home run ball badge.
Yes, he did. 22 runs batted in for Schaefer.
And that's what happens when you're behind hitters and you ultimately have to come in. Even though Schaefer is not a home run hitter, he takes a big home run swing at that 2-0 fastball. And the Astros reclaim the lead. Bogusevic hit a rocket to start the inning for an out and then walk home run.
Right to Harrell. It's a battle of 2-run homers here in the fourth, and both have followed walks. First long ball since June 23rd for Schaefer. Harrell chases that one. 1-2 to Lucas. Pretty nice when the number 8 guy comes through with a blast like that. McDonald follows with a strikeout for out number 2. That's his third.
And then the other thing all the walks does, it just continues to move the line. So here's Jose Altuve getting his 3rd plate appearance, and it's the 4th inning. And you're asking for trouble when you give hitters that many looks at you.
Schaefer had gone 72 at bats between homers. Altuve takes ball 1. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Mercer can't stop it. It goes on through into left center field. Altuve's going to second. Here's the throw, and it's offline, and he's safe. Marte's throw pulled Walker off, but Neal was trying to snatch it and then spin around and make a tag. Never really got it in his glove, and Altuve hustles it into his 25th double.
We saw Marwin Gonzalez force the action last inning, making it to second base on a ball off the shortstop's glove, and now Altuve really getting it after it. I like this play with 2 outs. Worth a gamble. If you throw you out, so what? The outfielder has to drift back into the alley a little bit. The throw is a little bit offline. Online, they probably have him. But again, I think that's a good play. Ooh, he might have been out anyway. I like the play. Walker never held the ball anyway.
No, he couldn't get it in his glove.
2 outs. That's time to stretch it. Gamble to try to get into scoring position.
Gonzalez hustled that double JD mentioned a moment ago. There's strike 1 to him.
Especially if you don't have a big slugger behind you. If you got a guy who hits a lot of doubles and home runs behind you, maybe you stay put. But Gonzalez, more of a singles hitter.
Walker maintains possession. He's probably out there.
Comes under the category of aggressive yet not reckless.
Yeah,
and that's sometimes when a team's losing, you'll see them do some crazy things on the bases because they're trying to create something, and that's what Millsy was saying. No, fellas, play aggressive. There's certain times where you want to take an extra base, other times where it makes sense to drop anchor, and this was certainly a time where it made sense to go for it.
Call for a swing by Gonzalez. And it's a strikeout to end the 4th inning. The Astros come up with 2 runs on the homer by Schaefer. They get 2 hits and they leave a man. They lead it now 3-2.
does What Do You Drive? Looking ahead to Game 1 of the series in Milwaukee. Bud Norris going to the hill for the Astros. Bud with a very nice outing on the 25th against the Cincinnati Reds. Went 7 innings, allowed just 1 run on 5 hits, 7 strikeouts. He did not figure the decision there, but it was a big bounce back effort from Bud. Pitched very well against them. Looking to continue that going against Marco Estrada in the first game of that series. That's your Mazda game break. Brownie, back to you.
Thanks, Bart. There was strike 1 to McHenry leading off the 5th inning. It's 3-2 Astros now as Lucas Harrell spins 1 for a ball to make it 1-1 with Mercer and McDonald to follow. One ball, 2 strikes. Lucas Harrell sets an aggressive tone on the mound when he pitches, and there's been an aggressive tone on the bases with the doubles by Gonzalez and Altuve for the Astros. Foul ball keeps it at 1-2 to McHenry. It's been quite a find for the Pirates.
Yeah, he's provided a little sock for them in that catcher's position. Rob Barajas, too. Barajas doesn't hit for much average, but he's got power, and he got a big hit for them last night, the game-winning hit. But McHenry's got an on-base or a slugging percentage up over 500.
Bangs that one off his leg. He came from Colorado to Boston, then traded to Pittsburgh last year in June, and he hit .222 and 180 at bats. That's classy by Chris Johnson.
Well, good luck to see. Do you have the Diamondbacks been here? They're coming yet?
They are still coming,
okay,
yeah. So
that's
he'll
good.
be back.
Yeah.
That's great in case we. Well, he's probably gone by now, right?
Well, if you're an Astro player right now and you're contemplating buying a house, don't do it. Unless you want to get traded.
Right. Still 1-2, but that's the old baseball axiom, right?
Yeah. Of course, it's a nice place to live in the offseason.
You bet.
Speaking of Twitter, fun story out of Atlanta. Freddie Gonzalez was reading he's the manager of the Braves. He was reading Chipper Jones' tweet, and Chipper commented on last night's game, and then he said, meeting with the doc tomorrow, and Freddie didn't sleep all night, thought it was a knee issue for Chipper, and it turns out Chipper was referring to the fact that they were facing Roy Halladay, nicknamed Doc. Freddie thought Chipper. It's like, what's going on? My third baseman's going to see a doctor tomorrow, and I don't know.
Single by McHenry. He's aboard for Jordy Mercer now. McHenry banged a couple balls off his legs. That's hit number 3. Mercer grounded back to Harrell after working the count full in the 3rd inning. Jordy, a 3rd round pick in 08. He played at AA Altoona and AAA Indianapolis last year. First time we've really seen him. Marwin Gonzalez to Altuve for 1, up and over, but safe at first. The throw was offline, and Mercer's aboard on the 6-4 force on McHenry.
There was not a lot of pace on that ground ball, and Altuve knew he had to be awfully quick with the turn, and in so doing wasn't able to get off an accurate throw. But a good try. So big high hop there, takes a little steam out of that ground ball. Mercer would have beaten it anyway.
Looked like it. James McDonald comes up. He has 6 hits and 39 at bats now. San Diego Padres have given Houston Street, their closer, a 2-year contract extension for $14 million. Bunted, and it's played by Pierce. Over to Altuve. 2 outs on the 4th sacrifice this season for McDonald. And Marte will come up. He's flied to right and bounced to 3rd. There's been some Houston Street rumors out there. You know, that's happening also to some teams. Guys who have been involved in trade rumors are now signing contract extensions. Cole Hamels. But Zach Greinke, according to reports, wanted to test free agency, so that was the understanding with Milwaukee, and they dealt him to the Angels. We have to check. I think he might be pitching today.
He's supposed to be. They play Tampa Bay later on.
Okay. And according to what we're reading about the Angels, they think that they can sign him after this season. The Rangers were not interested in doing that, so different philosophies. Might have been interested, but they don't have the payroll space. It's 1-1. Detroit's winning in the top of the ninth at Toronto 4-1.
There's no payroll cap.
That's true.
They pay whatever they want.
They could.
They just didn't want to.
They didn't want to. Self-imposed.
That's a big challenge for clubs that are in the race to have that discipline. There's that piece dangling out there that you think may put you over the top, but at what cost? And that's always the challenge for a contending team.
And we're reading about the Phillies. They're worried about the luxury tax for next year's payroll, so they may have to move some parts.
Yeah, the one club that doesn't dwell too much on that is the Yankees.
Oh, really?
They seem to be willing to pay that luxury tax year in and year out. I mean, Brian Cashman does, every now and then say, no, we don't want to push that payroll too high, but they seem to be always willing to when push comes to shove.
I think they've kind of lowered their payroll this year, haven't they?
I'm not sure. Careful now. Bit of a hanger. He knows. You can tell by the look on his face. Hat tipped up. Eyes wide. Blowing out a little big breath of relief.
Yes.
Got away with one.
The Doc Halladay, is trailing Atlanta right now 3-2, bottom of the sixth inning. And Chipper hit that homer off him. He went to see the Doc, but so far it's not a painful visit for him at all. It's like finding out you don't have to get a molar removed. The A's have scored 40 runs in their last 4 games. They've been the best team in July. And Sheets 3-0 with the Braves. Adam Dunn is on a home run binge. 31 homers, 32 singles. And Prince Fielder has gone the other way with 1 long ball since the break. Daniel Nava has gone nada on us in July.
Rangers had to scratch Neftali Feliz from a rehab start today.
That is not good news.
Discomfort in his elbow.
When is Roy Oswalt going to pitch again? Do you know?
I don't know.
Broken bat. Altuve in for it. It bounces. He throws. Nope, he doesn't throw. He had no play on Marte's fast. It's going to be an infield hit with Mercer going to third, and it's 1st and 3rd now with 2 outs.
That's just a shame there that that's a hit.
Yeah, it is.
Billy Martin would have made that play.
In the World Series.
Yeah, in the World Series. That's the ultimate soft hit there. Good idea by Altuve. He had no play at first base. Thought he'd take a peek at third. Maybe he'd get a big turn by Mercer. Take a shot over there on the back door if opportunity presented itself. Mercer stayed tight. Nothing there. Now you got to get Presley.
Presley is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a sharp ground ball hit to Scott Moore. Well, for a soft hit like that, Marte should be listening to the Mamas and Papas all the way to Chicago. Milwaukee 3, Washington 1 after 4.
That was Neil Sedaka soft. How soft that was.
Wow. That's strike 1. Do you suppose Starling Marte has any idea who Neil Sedaka is?
He's probably got him on his iPod. I'm guessing about 20% of our audience has any idea who Neil Sedaka is.
Yeah. You know, they were playing Frank Sinatra in the Astros clubhouse today.
Good for them.
Yeah. Runner going. Fake throw.
I tell you, tough guy to throw out, so why risk the throw with 2 outs? Just get Presley. I guess was the thinking. Interesting, though, that the infielders covered, so that must have been just a decision by Chris Snyder not to throw through.
Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing his instincts told him, but he took a peek at third. It looked like he was faking all the way, and if that was the play, why are your middle infielders covering? Because normally those first and third situations, the catcher will signal everybody what's going on, whether they're throwing through, any number of plays they can put on. But if you're not throwing, middle infielders need to stay put.
You know what I think would be difficult for a catcher, the way that mask moves around on his head when he fakes a throw like that?
Just go to the hockey style.
Exactly.
Probably just not comfortable with that.
Yeah. Foul back. You wind up with the padding over one eye.
So Sinatra in the clubhouse.
Yeah. I think it might have been Chris Snyder's choice. I'm not sure, but yeah, there was some good Sinatra. Is there any bad Sinatra? Maybe not.
His version of "It's Not Easy Being Green" is probably not one of some of his best work.
Yeah, they might not put that on his resume. You know what I really like was when Natalie Cole went back and re-recorded songs, duets with her late
dad,
father,
yeah.
Nat King Cole.
Unforgettable.
Yeah. 80 pitches for Harrell. Don't suppose that will ever happen to Sinatra's music with anybody, right?
I don't know. Probably will. Probably has.
Cubs 2, Cardinals nothing after 4 in Chicago. Paul Maholm keeping the Redbirds at bay with only 1 hit through 4 against Adam Wainwright.
Lucas changed his mind as to what he wanted to throw. Now he wants to talk to Chris Snyder about it. Here's what I'm thinking, Chris. Just change the signs up a little bit with the man on second base. Hey, welcome back to the big leagues, Lou Ford.
Lou Ford, where's he?
He's with Baltimore Orioles.
Okay.
He had not been in the big leagues since 2007. Been in Japan, Mexico, independent ball, and signed a minor league deal by the Orioles back in May. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. Foul back. That keeps the count at 1-2 on Presley. Kershaw and Vogelsong later this afternoon at AT&T Park. Dodgers and Giants. Roy pitches tomorrow, by the way, for Texas. Mets in Arizona later today. Dickey and Saunders. Arizona got the survived the 3 home run game by a Met and 1 last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Times that game, if CJ catches a plane, he might be able to make it.
4:10 Eastern. He's probably scurrying to get there right now. He might be used as a pinch hitter later on. Arizona currently 51-50, 4.5 games out of first. And CJ talked about coming up through this Astros organization. That's all he's ever known. He's gone through the minor leagues with some of these teammates here now. So he said he got quite emotional when he got the news about the trade. Change up, flip near the left field line, and it goes foul. He's happy it did.
Looks like it could be Sean Penn's brother.
Where is Sean Penn
bigger
now?
Brother.
Where is he? Cuba? Where's he hanging out?
I don't know where he is.
Okay. Haven't seen much from him lately. It's Dubront and Kuroda in the Bronx tonight with Boston and the Yankees playing. Word on Carl Crawford is he's been told he's going to have Tommy John elbow surgery, and it would be better to be sooner rather than later.
Wesley putting up a good fight here, running this count full. Good news is Andrew McCutcheon's got the day off, otherwise he'd be on deck.
Yeah. This will be the 10th pitch coming to Presley. Swings and misses at it. Good changeup by Lucas Harrell to finish him off. And he puts up a 0. The strikeout number 5 ending it. 3-2 Astros.
Anniversary, 10,000 fans will receive a retro umbrella courtesy of HEB. Join us Sunday, August 12th as the Astros take on the Brewers. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com, guys.
Thanks, Patty. 3-2 Astros. J.D. Martinez leading it off here in the 5th inning. Taking a curve for ball 1. He's walked and hit a sacrifice fly today. This one goes to shallow right field. Jones can't make a catch. The ball gets behind him. Martinez should be able to make third on this. He is sprinting, and here's the long throw, cut off. What a break for the Astros. They get a runner on third, leading off the inning, as Jones failed to get there and then let the ball get behind him.
He gambled and lost, and there was no support. That's tough corner outfielder. Unless it's in the gap, it's very unlikely that anybody's going to be behind you to give you support. But I don't know if we'll see it on this replay or not. Whether they could have helped or not, center fielder Marte, second baseman Walker both quit on the plate. Neither one of those guys continued to pursue this ball. They just stopped and watched Jones. And again, I don't know that they would have made a difference. Maybe saved a base. It's a long way for a center fielder to go, but Marte was not even jogging in the general direction.
Infielders have moved in halfway for Scott Moore. There's strike 1. Moore with a fly ball to center and a walk, trying to drive in Martinez now. Like Jones just lost his balance there at the end. Soft pop up, goes foul. Here's McHenry back. Nice effort, but he came up a little short. Oh, 0-2 now to Scott Moore.
about this effort by Fort McHenry? Must be in the front row.
Grounded into right field. 4-2 Astros on the RBI single by Moore. So RBI number 12 for Scott. Martinez, after the leadoff triple, scores. Well, the infielders moving in, that gave him extra room to get it between first and second.
And a mistake by McDonald with the 2-strike breaking ball up in the zone.
So now a 2-run lead, and the Astros hope for a big inning with Steve Pearce batting. Pearce 0 for 2, strikeout and a double play ball. Lines one, fair, and it'll kick out a little bit. And that means Moore gets to third, and Pearce into second with his first hit as an Astro, a double.
For sure could use a little breathing room as we move into the later stages of this ball game, and they have a great chance now as Pearce, after a rough start to his Astros career, delivers a double.
Moore getting to third base on that carom shot.
Yeah, you saw the replay there. Mercer reacting to that ball. That's a play Barmas, having played here, as soon as it was hit, Barmas would have started sprinting out in that direction. Would have gotten on that carom a lot more quickly. Whether he could have held Pearce to a single or not, I don't know. It's one of the quirky parts of this ballpark that it really pays off to have some experience. There's Kevin Correa, the starter who has been moved to the bullpen.
McDonald has given up a triple, a single, and a double now. And it'll be Bogusevic, who's 0 for 2, coming up next. He hit the ball on the screws in the 4th inning, lining out to right field. So the numbers are crooked for McDonald, including the 6 walks.
This is his 4th rough start in a row. Has to be some matter of concern for the Pirates.
Free pass to Bogey to load the bases for Snyder. This is the first intentional walk Bogusevic has drawn this year. And Chris Snyder, who's walked twice himself, will come up with the bases loaded, no out opportunity here. Brad Mills' club has not cashed in most of the time when the bases have been loaded, with a 139 team average in those situations this year. But if Snyder does, that could really give Harold the breathing room he needs for a W today. Nick Leyva moving his infielders.
Risky proposition here by the Pirates, walking the bases loaded with a guy on the mound that's walked 6 already today. Chris Snyder has drawn 2 of those walks.
Snyder's driven in 19 this year. He has all kinds of holes in that infield. Curveball, ball 1.
I kind of thought Hurdle would go to the bullpen after that intentional walk. I thought he'd bring Correa in.
Now it's 2 balls, no strikes. This is a high for McDonald for walks in a start. Total of 7 now. taps it foul. Walk number 6 was really the one that has hurt him the most, because the Pirates had just gotten the 2-run homer in the top of the 4th to give them a 2-1 lead. He got 1 out on 1 pitch from Bogusevic, but he walked Snyder on a 3-2 count, and then Schaefer followed with a 2-run homer to give the Astros a 3-2 lead. Little number. McHenry tries to get back, and he does get the force out at home. He wasn't getting help from McDonald, so he scrambled and made the play himself on Moore at home plate, 2 unassisted.
Wow, that was an unbelievable play. We saw McHenry leap into the screen trying to catch that foul pop, and now he shows pretty impressive athleticism to bounce out on this one, barehanded, and then retreat and tag the plate before Moore can get home. That is a heck of a play. The ball bouncing back in toward his body. That's something else.
Very unusual play for a catcher. Now Schaefer, who ripped the 2-run homer in the 4th after a walk in the 2nd, has the bases loaded with 1 out. Strike 1 to Schaefer. Jordan now has 4 career hits and 16 at bats against McDonald. 1 grand slam, that coming this year. The Astros have hit 3 of those as a team. Mercer and Walker back at double play depth now. It's 0-2. Chipper Jones, with his home run off Doc Halladay, now has passed Pete Rose in extra base hits by a switch hitter into 2nd place. Only Eddie Murray has more extra base hits by a switch hitter. Little top here, and it goes out to Walker, and he will take the out at first base. Little top grounder got the run home, and the Astros now get run number 5 home to lead it 5-2. And Schaefer picks up his 3rd RBI of the game and 23rd of the year.
This time it's the Astros who benefit from the soft contact. Little roller out towards 2nd base. Walker took a look at home. Didn't feel like he had a play. Had to go back across his body to get Schaefer, and you don't have a whole lot of time to think about it when you got Schaefer going down the line.
Now it's Harrell who struck out twice. And there's strike 1. Five runs on 6 hits for Houston, 2 runs on 4 hits for Pittsburgh. Altuve's on deck. Bogusevic at 3rd and Snyder at 2nd. 0-2. Maybe Hurdle didn't want to bring in Correa with men on base since he's been a starting pitcher this year. Not sure, but it has not worked out well.
Lucas guessing ball all the way there after swinging at those 2 high fastballs. He's thinking he's going to throw me another one neck high. And that'll almost clip the outside corner.
Harrell puts it in the air, foul into the seats. Angels are at home against Tampa Bay, and Zach Greinke's debut today. And he has put up a 0 in the top of the 1st against Jeremy Hellickson. That's a strikeout looking. In the 5th, the Astros come up with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 2. McDonald gets his 5th strikeout of the day to end the 5th inning. The Astros are up by 3 now.
of the game. And this guy right here, Will Palmer. And Will's been kind of trying to contact me all week long, wanting to be the fan of the game. You've been out here every single night this week. Will, tell us why.
Because I'm going to Brazil as a foreign exchange student, and I've been just about a lifelong Astros fan. And I wanted to catch all the Astros games I can before I leave this Thursday.
Well, you didn't have a string of good luck this week, but it looks like they're about to send you off here on a good note.
I sure hope so, because I don't want to leave without a win.
All right, so what are we hoping to accomplish in Brazil?
Just to broaden my horizons and to experience another culture. And it's something not a lot of people realize. A lot of people in their own country kind of shut themselves off from around the world. And it's just a neat experience just to go down and just live another culture.
Well, I know you're having a lot of good luck on Twitter. You're the fan of the game because of it, but I know you also, I looked at your Twitter, you contacted and talked with Jeff Luhnow, Brian McTaggart. You have pretty good success on Twitter.
Yes, and I just started a couple months ago, matter of fact. So, I'm finding it's a very successful tool to keep in touch, and lately it's been very useful. That's where I've found out a lot of the trades. And, it's been very useful to keep track of trades and roster moves. So it's up to the minute. It's always interesting. It's always fun to use. All
right, well, you keep track of your Astros on Twitter in Brazil. Good luck to you. You are a progressive fan of the game. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Great luck in Brazil. And hopefully the Astros can get Will a win. Walker's the batter. He's 1-1 on the count with Harrell. That chases Schaefer back. And right in front of the wall. A long drive by Walker goes for out number 1. Quite a game for Schaefer today.
Big swing of the bat by Walker, but he hit it to a very big part of the ball yard, and Jordan able to haul it in there just in front of the wall, 400 feet away or so.
Garrett Jones ripped one that couldn't be caught except by a fan in the second deck in right field last time up. Strike one to Jones. Detroit beat Toronto 4-1 at Toronto. Doug Fister the winner. Jose Valverde got his 20th save. And Brett Cecil was the loser. By the way, the Astros last trade with the Diamondbacks involved Valverde before Chris Johnson was dealt today. Cecil giving up 3 earned runs in 6 2/3 innings. We just keep looking for an opening for Jay Happ to move into that Toronto rotation. Not sure which way the Blue Jays are going to go, but Jay's been in the bullpen since the trade. It's 2-2. There are a few candidates depending on which way the Blue Jays want to break with that rotation. Kevin Correa continues to warm up. So it would appear that that is the day for James McDonald after 5 innings.
Yeah, he's toast.
Threw 110 pitches in 5 innings, walking 7 and fanning 5. Pulled, and here's the shift. Altuve with the throw to get him. Marwin Gonzalez was diving for it, but behind him in right field was Altuve, who made the throw on to Pierce for the out.
The spot where Altuve picked up that ball, not far away from the spot where Jones left his feet to try to catch the pop up by JD that turned into a triple. So this is a bad part of the field for Jones today. He's been good when he hit it 450 feet into the second deck. But he gets his heart broken here by the 1-3-1 zone trap.
Oh boy. Can't remember seeing 2 infielders out there in that part of the field before going for a ball. McGee with ball 1. And Altuve almost stepped on Gonzalez as he made the throw. McGee's grounded out to third and fly to center field. And when you station a second baseman out there, you have to make sure he has the arm to back up playing that deep. Harrell's in with that one for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Harrell shooting for win number 8. Broken bat looper. Gonzalez out, and that's in for a hit. 2-out single by McGee. Pedro Alvarez will follow. He's 1 for 2.
Gonzalez didn't really have a shot at that one, but it reminded me of Miggy when the guy hit a ball like 40 feet in the air to left field, and Miggy would jump like he had a shot at it.
Sure was. Alvarez with a single to left and a strikeout, up for the 3rd time. San Diego got 2 in the top of the 8th at Miami to tie at 4-4. Yonder Alonso hit his 5th home run.
Marlins blowing a lead? No way.
Way. And we'll check and see who was in there. Edward Mujica gave up 2 runs. Josh Johnson started today. He walked 6 in 5 innings. It's 1-1. Harrell's thrown 99 pitches. 67 have been strikes. And tied for ball 2. Lucas on Tuesday against the Reds gave up 1 run in 7 innings. Got a no decision. He left with a 2-1 lead. The Astros lost it late 4-2. He has not won since he beat the Padres here 1-0 June 27th.
Nobody's won. Very
good point.
2 wins in the last
who has
month for 2-25. Is that the number?
Yep. In the 1 loss Harrell has had here at home, he lost 2-0 to Cleveland. He gave up 2 hits and 1 run in 7 innings and lost that game. Alvarez looks at that one high. Full count now. McHenry's on deck. Yeah, Harrell has been shut out 1-0. He's won 1-0. He's lost 2-0. First game he pitched here, he went 7 shutout innings and got a 7-3 win over Colorado. Runner going, and that's ball 4. 2 men on now for McHenry.
Change up to the left-handed hitter has been a go-to pitch for him at times today. And this time Alvarez was wise to it. Never really got it started, recognized it, took the walk. Now Doug Brocail out to have a chat with his young right-hander as action heats up in the Astros bullpen. It's Fernando Rodriguez.
Fernando pitched an inning last night and an inning the night before, and Brad Mills was not sure that he would be available today. Chucky Fick, who just joined the Astros, took the loss last night. Those are the numbers on Harrell, but he looks like he could help that bullpen. McHenry singled to left in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2. Way outside ball 1. Chucky Fick was saying his dad, Chuck, who was a minor league teammate of Brad Mills in the Montreal system, is now a pro scout for the Cardinals.
And you see Steve Sparks' tweet last night?
No.
Chuck Fick Sr. was also the catcher in the movie The Naked Gun.
I didn't know that. That's good stuff, Sparky. 2-0. Steve Sparks comes up with the most unusual information in his tweets. Phillies batting at the top of the 8th, trailing in Atlanta 6-2.
Benefit of the doubt there on a borderline pitch. Lucas really command of this game through the first 3 innings and allowed just 1 base runner. He's been a little wobbly since with his command.
Now he falls behind 3-1.
Looks to me like he's trying to throw that pitch where he starts it off the plate and gets some run back to that outside corner. He's just not able to execute it.
Last time out, he threw 121 pitches. And that was his pitch high for the season. Now a walk loads the bases for the number 8 hitter, Jordy Mercer. Clint Hurdle staying with him. He has grounded out to the pitcher and bounced into a force play. Now Brad Mills is on his way. He's going to the bullpen. Harrell will leave after 108 pitches with the score 5-2 Houston. Back in a moment. As we look back at the day for Lucas Harrell.
As I mentioned, really got off to a great start. Just the 1 base hit allowed through the first 3 innings. That was the only base runner. And there's that good changeup he used effectively against some of those left-handed hitters. Striking out 5 today for Harrell. Good solid effort. Not his best, but he set the tone early and then hung in there. Worked out of that jam in the 5th. Now he's going to lean on Fernando Rodriguez to get him out of trouble here in the 6th. And that will ultimately determine his pitching line for the day. Right now he's allowed 2 earnings, but responsible for those 3 men on base. Fernando's been a busy man lately. He's working for the 46th time. He's 1-8 with a 5.90 ERA. 3rd time in a row in this series. He also worked twice in the Red Series.
And guess who's going to be pinch hitting? Andrew McCutchen will hit for Mercer. Mercer was going up to the plate when Harrell was removed. And then during the pitching change, this is the announcement that we got when we saw him in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Mercer, who was 0 for 2. And McCutchen, getting the day off until now, has 4 hits and 11 at-bats in this series. .458 his career average with the bases loaded.
He does not have a pinch hit at bat this year.
Looks like Josh Harrison in the on deck circle with a pitcher spot due up next. That's ball 1. McCutchen leads the league in batting average at .369. He's tied for 2nd in homers with 22. He's 6th in runs batted in with 66. It's 1-1.
Fernando didn't hit a spot there, trying to go away with that fastball, but throws hard enough. And when it's up in the zone, it's a tough pitch to handle, so he was able to get away with it up there.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. In the dirt, and there's the stop by Snyder. 2 balls and a strike.
This Astros bullpen has really struggled for quite some time now. Chance for Fernando to provide a big lift for the pen, for everybody in that Astros dugout to get out of this.
Broken bat pop up. Altuve out into right field for the catch to end it. Very big out in this game. Lucas Harrell leaves. Fernando Rodriguez gives him a boost. 5-2 Astros. Show you the infield shift on Garrett Jones with Altuve in right field. Marwin Gonzalez dives for the ball. Altuve makes the play behind him. That was for out number 2 in the 6th inning, and it turned out to be pretty important because what followed that was a single and 2 walks. And then with the bases loaded, the pitching change brought Fernando Rodriguez in, and he got the important out on McCutchen. Josh Harrison goes in to play shortstop. He's batting 9th, so he'll lead off the 7th inning. Kevin Correa is in the game to pitch as a starter. He's been in 19 times. He's 8-6 with a 4.24 ERA.
Correa, a guy we've seen a number of times over the years as a starter. He's from the San Diego area, came up with the Giants. He's actually been throwing the ball quite well prior to his transition to the bullpen.
Not a welcome transition, of course, with that kind of news being passed along to him that Wandy Rodriguez was taking a spot in the rotation and he was being bumped. Altuve has walked and doubled, and he shoots one to right center field. Caught there by Marte for out number 1. McDonald in 5 innings allowed 6 hits, 5 runs, walking 7, fanning 5. One of the walks was intentional. Marwin Gonzalez got a hit in the 3rd inning, a double. He's 1 for 3. This is Correa's first relief appearance of the season. Delivers, strike 1. Correa made his last appearance on Wednesday as a starter. He beat Ryan Dempster 3-2 with 6 strong innings, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs. It's into right field. Gonzalez coming out of a slump, and he's 2 for 4. Now J.D. Martinez with a walk, a sac fly, and a triple. 7 hits for Houston now. Correa's on a career high 6-game winning streak with a 3.89 ERA in his last 7 starts. He delivers strike 1. As a reliever in the big leagues, he's pitched 127 times with 3 wins, 8 losses, and a 4.22 ERA. Kevin's 31 years old, drafted by the Giants in 2000. Broken bat, bounces back to Correa, over to first base, 2 outs, Gonzalez to second. Scott Moore follows. Correa last year was 12-11 for the Pirates. He was their opening day starter a year ago. Wound up with 154 innings of work with a 4.79 ERA, and he has bettered that. So he really gives them depth. If they have an injury or an ineffective starter and keep him stretched out, should be able to make the transition back to the rotation. Moore as an RBI single and a walk in 3 trips. Over Harrison into left center field to make it 6-2 Astros. Moore with an RBI single. Scoring Gonzalez. Big 2-out delivery. That's 13 runs batted in for Moore, 2 today.
This time he goes with the pitch, a fastball moving out away from him and down, and he just pings it into left center field for an RBI single. Nice job there by Moore.
That's hit number 8 to make it 6-2. Steve Pearce looking at strike 1, contributed a double back in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3. Ball makes it no balls, 2 strikes to Pearce. Mets have 2 in the top of the 1st so far at Arizona off Joe Saunders. R.A. Dickey pitching today for New York. Bogusevic on deck here in the 6th. Dodgers and Giants underway, no score, bottom of the 1st. Wow, what a play. McHenry. That's amazing. Check this out.
All over the place back there today. Play made out in front of home plate. Showing some pretty good ups there.
He is defying gravity.
Like Phil Mickelson after he won the Masters. It's like a jack in the box.
Runner going. Foul back. That was amazing. Do not try this at home unless you're stretched.
And he needs to set that to the music of the jack in the box. Pop goes the catcher.
I don't know if Chico Lean could jump higher than that. Not out of a crouch. He used to jump people and automobiles. He would do a pregame interview and jump over his host. But that's still pretty impressive, starting from the squat position. One ball, 2 strikes. You know, people talk about that play with the Pirates in the playoffs against the Braves in '92 with the hit to Barry Bonds and then Sid Bream scoring the winning run all the time. but what preceded that was an error, a rare error by Chico Lind at second base.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Most people don't.
Player.
Yeah, he was a very good defensive player. He really was. 2-2. And then that Cubs playoff game with the Marlins, the Steve Bartman game, there was an error on the shortstop prior to that. People tend to forget about that too. Three and two, 2 outs. Moore is ready to roll at first. Ground ball, backhanded Harrison. Good strong throw. In the 6th, it's 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left for the Astros. They lead the Buccos 6-2.
A fuel efficiency drive sales event by AT&T, Rethink Possible, and by Coushatta Casino Resort, the largest, most exciting casino resort in Louisiana. I've gotten a number of tweets throughout this game, and I've wondered some numbers. How many times the Astros have lost games after so many innings, after 8 and 7 and 6, and actually, surprisingly, I've told the fans, not as many as they may think. Problem is they haven't had the lead enough going into those later innings. For instance, after 6 innings, the Astros are 31-9, so they're well over 500. They just haven't had the lead enough tonight. They've got it, guys.
We go to the 7th inning, and they have a 4-run lead. Wesley Wright's working in the bullpen. Josh Harrison leads it off, 229, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in for Harrison. He's at shortstop, batting 9th now.
And you contrast that with the Pirates, who, when they lead after 6, they're 45-1.
Harrison's had 131 at bats. Scott Moore in tight at third. It's hit by him, and then it's hit, and a fan reaches over and misses it, but it's fielded by J.D. Martinez. Almost fan interference. It's a double for Harrison. Usually the umpire is going to call double 99% of the time anyway on fan interference on a ball like that, but it's nice when the fans don't reach over and interfere. Something tricky could happen that would not make it a double.
Yeah, not bothering to guard the lines here with a 4-run lead in the 7th inning. 8th inning, 1-run game. It's probably an out.
Now Marte is 1 for 3. That's popped up, and Pierce comes over for it. 1 out. Been a busy weekend for Fernando Rodriguez, as you pointed out. Friday night, Saturday night, 1 inning of scoreless ball. Now back on Sunday after pitching Tuesday and Wednesday in the Cincinnati series, and scoreless baseball in each appearance this week for Fernando. Came in with a man on Friday night. That run scored, but it wasn't charged to him. Alex Presley is 0 for 3. Neil Walker on deck. Foul back for strike 1 on Presley. $20,453 the attendance today. The Astros will be gone now for a week. That pitch is low for a ball.
One of the reasons why Fernando's been able to bounce back here and work 3 consecutive days is he has not made that many pitches in recent outings. 3 of his last 4 appearances, he's thrown fewer than 10 pitches.
Yeah, he threw 13 last night. Next home game will be August 6th against the first place Washington Nationals. That's a 4-game series. 7-game homestand. Milwaukee will follow Washington to town.
Fans get a chance to take a look at the Washington Nationals, and Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg likely will make a start in that series.
Very interesting Washington team. With the Strasburg situation on innings pitched.
There's so much attention focused on those 2 guys. There's a lot of good young players on that club. Jordan Zimmerman.
Yes.
Espinosa. And
Mike Morse has come back to give them some help in the outfield. That's high to Presley. That creates a 2-2 count. Well, the bullpen, an evolving situation now for Brad Mills with the trades. With Fred Myers and Brandon Lyon having been dealt. Francisco Cordero coming in. Chucky Fick joining the scene. Lots of shuffling in that bullpen.
Fernando paying a lot of attention to Harrison out there at second base. Really doesn't need to. He's got a 4-run lead. It's kind of I'm sure he's getting mixed messages because he's probably hearing from a lot of people, hey, you got to tighten things up, give your catcher a chance to throw somebody out. And a lot of it is just recognition of knowing when a team's likely to try to take a base on you and when they are not. And this would be a real high risk proposition to try to steal third base here, down 4 runs with a left-handed hitter up.
Yeah. There are trade rumors swirling around Cleveland right fielder Shin-Soo Choo involving Pittsburgh.
Pretty good player, Choo.
He is a good player. And could be a free agent. So perhaps he will sign a contract extension and there won't be a trade. According to one report, the Pirates had a scout in Cleveland recently. And they're saying in this one report that Starling Marte is part of the trade discussions. I can't believe that the Pirates would trade Starling Marte right now. Choo's got another year. 2013 is his free agent season. Foul back. You know, in the one sense, you'd say, well, anybody's subject to trade, but boy, that would, you know, with all the emphasis they have put on developing him this year and making sure that he has stayed at AAA and is fully ready to come to the big leagues. It would be a shocker if they traded Marte. That's strike 3. 2 outs.
Chu hitting .295 with 12 home runs. He's hit a bunch of doubles. He's a good outfielder and could steal a bag for you, so he definitely would help. That fastball off the outside edge, but Jim Wolf brings him up.
Doug broke Cale out now. Walker's due up. Walker's 0 for 2 with a walk. Hit a long fly ball caught on the warning track in the 6th inning by Schaefer. Well, the Astros pushing hard for a win to stop this losing streak at 12. Trying to get a little bit more out of Fernando Rodriguez. And the pitcher spot is due up 4th for the Astros in the bottom of the inning. If he can get one more out, that's probably all they'll ask of him today. Jones is on deck. Wesley Wright was working earlier in the bullpen. That's out into right center field, and that's going to drive in a run. Extra bases for Walker. 6-3 game as he comes through with an RBI double for the Buccos. His 24th two-base hit and 49th run batted in for Walker. And that's going to be it for Fernando Rodriguez.
Well, Walker wastes no time, jumps on this first pitch fastball. It's up above the belt, but he's quick enough to get on it, get that top hand through and hit it with some authority out there into the alley in right center field. Walker, talk about McCutchen being so good in July. Walker's been awfully good as well. He was hitting .360 something in the month of July coming into this series.
It's a double switch. Matt Downs has come in at first. Wesley Wright's coming out of the bullpen. 6-3 Houston. Back in a moment. In fact, a double switch has been occurring on the field, entertaining themselves while Matt Downs comes in to play first base, batting ninth in the double switch. Steve Pearce leaves the game after going 1 for 4. Wesley Wright is in. He's 0-2 with a 3.23 earned run average.
This is Wesley's third consecutive appearance. A blown save yesterday.
Facing Garrett Jones, who ripped a 2-run homer his second time up. Now lifts this one to right center field. Schaefer going for it. And it's a one pitch out for Wesley Wright. It's 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. Middle of the 7th inning, a Sunday. God bless America here from Minute Maid Park.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as part of this season's Home Sweet Home program, your Houston Astros and Budweiser are pleased and honored to be able to welcome to today's game service members who have recently returned home from overseas deployment. Welcome home, gentlemen. And now, to honor them and all of the brave men and women who protect our freedom around the world every day, please welcome a former World War II veteran and a young man who will be 94 years old this September, Joe Prince. Please join him as we honor our great nation with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And be sure to follow the Astros with the MLB.com at that 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at FAT to 31826 or visit theastros.com for details, guys.
Thank you, Patty. Stay wired. Stay connected. 6-3, bottom of the 7th inning. The Astros lead it. Ryan Bogusevic leaning back for ball one, open in from Kevin Correa. He is 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. Correa in relief of James McDonald, pitching his second inning. He gave up a Moore 2-out RBI single in the 6th. Hits the corner with that one. It's 1-1. Lucas Harrell went 5 2/3 innings. He allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, walking 3, fanning 5. Fernando Rodriguez 1 inning. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 1 strikeout. Wesley Wright got Jones on 1 pitch to end the top of this frame. Now the Astros look to add to their 6-3 lead. They've out-hit the Buccos 8-7. No errors in the game today.
Jones went up there looking first pitch breaking ball from Wesley. Got it. Took a mighty rip at it. Just missed it. What? It's a pitcher. It's your job to get him to just miss it.
True. 2-2.
She's good enough to get it done. He must have like 9 pitches. Picked the right one.
Yes, he did. That's his first strikeout. Number 6 for Pirate pitching today.
A little backdoor slider, well placed.
Correa had a side muscle injury that cost him the final 6 weeks of the season last year, when the Pirates were struggling down the stretch. Chris Snyder has 2 walks, and he's bounced into a force play. Strike 1 to Snyder. It's Baltimore 6, Oakland 1. Oakland batting in the top of the 9th. Wieters hit his 13th for the Orioles. Trying to cool off those hot A's. No balls, 2 strikes. Oakland in a favorable position right now. 3.5 behind Texas, 1/2 in front of the Angels. The .550 winning percentage. That's good for the number 1 wild card spot right now in the American League.
What a roll.
A shot into right field for Snyder. He's on for the 3rd time. As we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. It's a home run by Schaefer in the 4th inning, a 2-run shot that gave the Astros a 3-2 lead.
Took down a 2-0 fastball from McDonald after he had walked Chris Snyder. McDonald having a hard time locating, and Schaefer taking full advantage. Big swing of the bat there.
Well, Snyder, batting right in front of him, has been on 3 times, and Schaefer's driven in 3. So good production from the 7-8 spots in the lineup for Brad Mills today. They're in the 10th in Miami. It's San Diego 4, Miami 4. Seattle leads Kansas City with King Felix Hernandez on the mound, 1-0 after 2 in Seattle. That makes it 1-1 to Schaefer. Milwaukee has a 2-run lead at home, 5-3 over Washington, bottom of the 7th inning. Cubs lead the Cardinals 2-1 after 7 at Wrigley. Two balls and a strike. Pirates will watch the scoreboard a little bit probably and see Cincinnati 6, Colorado 2, bottom of the 5th at Coors Field. Jay Bruce hit his 20th home run. Drew Stubbs number 12. Foul ball and a broken bat. Took a big piece out of that bat. Look at that.
Right off the end of that, you see the end of that bat. It's a cupped bat, and he gets it right off the end of the bat. Shaves off a pretty good slice.
Mike Acosta will put it back together again.
I don't hear about guys corking their bats much anymore, do you?
Nope.
They've just gone to maple bats.
Strikeout looking. 2 outs.
Hatch got busted for corking his bat, and Greg Nettles had those tennis balls bouncing all over the place when his bat broke.
Schaefer thought no.
Players always looking for an edge.
Downs comes up for the first time. He's hitting 200 with 7 homers, 13 runs batted in. So the principle is they make that bat speed a little bit quicker by doing that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Line shot by a diving Harrison into left center field. Downs delivers. Here's Presley throwing into second. Snyder going first to third on the 2-out single by Downs.
Make the barrel of the bat a little bit lighter without affecting the integrity of the barrel. You enhance the coefficient of restitution as well.
That was a sharp result.
The players, they couldn't cork the bats anymore, so they had to start doctoring themselves.
Yeah.
Started corking themselves.
Altuve has been on twice. He has a walk and a double. He's 1 for 3. Trying to join Derek Bell for the lead in multi-hit games somewhere down the road.
How many has he got?
I don't remember what we showed on that.
Derek at 61.
61. Oh, how many did he have?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
36.
36. Okay.
He's got a ways to go.
He does. Derek hit what? Second most of the time that year? There he was. 61, yeah. He liked hitting second ahead of Bagwell. Duh. And he scored a lot of runs. That was a big thing with Derek, though. But he was really happy if he was hitting second in front of Bagwell. If he hit third, not so much. One ball, 2 strikes.
Well, behind Biggio in front of Bagwell is a pretty good place to hit.
That's a good sandwich to be in, yeah. Altuve looks at it. It's 2-2. Derek ran well, though, so he was really very good number 2 hitter. Just that sometimes teams think there's a little bit more there. They think maybe they have an RBI guy there who can do more than just score runs.
Well, that's a problem too. If a guy's got it in his head that he's a better player when he's hitting a certain spot in the batting order, it becomes a psychological thing. Whether he got better pitches to hit or not, he believed he was in a better spot, and it made a lot of difference, I think, in his approach.
Yes,
and his confidence.
For sure.
The reality with DB is no matter where you put him, he's just up there flailing. He's up there hacking. So even with Bagwell on deck, I don't think pitchers were inclined to give in to Derek Bell because they knew he'd swing at pitches out of the zone. But he had, he had good eye-hand coordination, like most high-average hitters. He'd hit a lot of bad balls and get base hits.
3-2 now to Altuve.
When you've lost 12 in a row, there's no such thing as too many runs.
No.
No lead is safe. Nothing feels comfortable in that home dugout until the 27th out is recorded.
Especially with a bullpen ERA of 4.79. Ball 4. Loads the bases. Well, Correa missed his spot, and now he'll face Marwin Gonzalez with 3 men on and 2 outs. Second walk for Altuve. And it's the 8th walk for Pirate pitching today. Gonzalez has a double and a single. Cardinals have just scored a run in the top of the 8th to tie the Cubs 2-2. Carlos Beltran hit his 23rd homer. Now this could be very helpful if Gonzalez gets a hit. Strike one to him with Martinez on deck. Wainwright went 6 for the Cardinals, giving up 2 runs. Mahalam 6 2/3, allowing 1 run for the Cubs. Beltran hit an 8th inning homer off Sean Camp. And that's line, left field line, fair into the corner. Scoring Snyder and Downs. And Altuve's coming to the plate. Here's a throw. He's safe. It's a 3-run double. 9-3 Astros.
That's the hit they've been looking for about a month. Getting some significant separation on that scoreboard with this bases clearing double. Ball up in his eyes, little cut fastball, inside out swing. And into the left field corner it goes, spinning all the way into that corner. You knew 2 were going to score easily. The question was Altuve did. Clark sending him all the way, and he's able to beat that sweep tag by McHenry at home.
Nicely done. He got by him and reached back for the plate. Garrett Hughes warming up in the bullpen now. J.D. Martinez hitting one on the ground, and Walker there. To register out number 3, the Astros get 3 runs on 3 hits. Gonzalez with a big day. 3 hits himself. It's 9-3 Astros. Then it's Keuchel and Gallardo and Lyles and Fires. Wednesday a day game, 12:30. Mark that down on your calendar, partner.
Day game on Wednesday?
Yeah, day game Wednesday.
Not that bad. Bratwurst for breakfast then.
That's right. Now it's 9-3 as the Astros have added to their lead. They've scored in 5 consecutive innings. Not sure when was the last time that happened, JD. It's probably been a while.
Yeah. We'll go with a while.
Okay, we'll stay with a while. And it's Wesley Wright coming back out for the 8th. He gave up, well, he didn't give up anything. He got the fly ball from Jones in the 7th inning with a man on second. And now he'll face McGee in the 8th. He's 1 for 3. Braves have swept a series from the Phillies. They win it 6-2. Tim Hudson beating Doc Halladay. McGee takes a look at ball 1. Hudson goes to 10-4. Halladay's 4-6. Phillies are 12 games under 500 in last place.
So there's been a lot of debate as to whether Ruben Amaro would move some of those other pieces. Obviously, they signed Cole Hamels to a long extension. He's not going anywhere. But Pence, Polanco, Victorino, all those names have been out there.
They sure have. I think Polanco just went on the DL. Francisco Cordero is warming up. 1-2. The Braves began the day 4 behind Washington. And the Nationals are currently trailing 7-3 at Milwaukee.
Who's got to Gio Gonzalez today?
Strikeout for Wesley Wright. McGee is out number 1.
Just clipping that outside corner.
Alvarez has a single and a walk today. This is the second 3-game sweep for the Braves against the Phillies this year. That's ball 1. And that's the first time since 2000 Atlanta has swept Philadelphia twice in the same season. I'm still not sure the extra wild card spot's going to mean that many more teams in the race, though. The way these teams are dropping back, JD, New York, Miami, Philadelphia, all way back in the NL East. Bottom 3 teams in the Central. There's a looping hit to left field. Alvarez aboard for the 3rd time.
Yeah, it's, you know, some years obviously there's going to be a lot of clubs involved. Other years not so much. Look at the National League wild card there. So well, the Dodgers, Cardinals, Atlanta, Arizona's what 3 back of the second wild card spot.
That'll be it for Wesley Wright. Cordero's coming in. It's 9-3. Back in a moment. Dancing in the stands. Hopefully they are seeing their first Astros win to snap this 12-game losing streak in a while. And now Cordero comes in. Francisco will be pitcher number 4 for the Astros. He's had 2 rough outings back-to-back Tuesday and Wednesday, and then out with a toe injury. 28 pitches Wednesday. He lost to the Reds in 2/3 of an inning. Came in with a 3-2 lead in the 9th, and the night before was a 2-1 lead in the 9th. Both times Drew Stubbs got him. A 2-run homer Tuesday, a 2-run double Wednesday. Now it's Michael McHenry. He has a hit and a walk.
Well, the veteran pitching now at the age of 37 years of age doesn't quite have the life on his fastball that he used to. Doesn't have the snap on the breaking ball, but it's still proved to be a serviceable relief pitcher. He's got to be a little more precise with his stuff. He pitched to a 5.77 ERA with Toronto this year in 41 ball games.
1-1. Cordero has 329 career saves. That's second to Mariano Rivera among active players, even though Mariano's hurt right now. Not expected back this season. 1-2 on the slider for Cordero. Zach Greinke's debut going quite well. Tampa Bay nothing, Angels nothing after 5. Tampa Bay has 2 hits. The Angels have 1. Vernon Wells is back from his 60-day stay on the disabled list. McHenry is down on strikes. 2 outs.
One more time, he goes back to that slider down and away. McHenry just can't lay off.
Now Drew Sutton's going to pinch hit for the pitcher Correa. Correa 2 innings, allowed 5 hits, 4 runs. He had 1 walk and struck out 2. Sutton has done some damage against the Astros this year. There's strike 1 to the switch hitter, who came from the Houston farm system, traded to Cincinnati, then he made his way to Atlanta. 250 for the Pirates, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in for Drew. No balls, 2 strikes to Sutton. Sutton went to Baylor. He's from Arkansas. 7 for 19. That big home run in Pittsburgh really hurt the Astros. He had a game-winning hit. Huge 4-game series there in early July against the Astros. No balls, 2 strikes to Sutton. He's the only guy who can bat left among the bench players for today's game, and he is a switch hitter. He also spent a little time in the Cleveland organization. 1-2 to Sutton. He walked as a pinch hitter Friday and scored. In fact, he scored the game-winning run. So he's been right there for some meaningful exploits at the end of games between the Pirates and Astros. Taps that one foul. Jeremy Hellickson pitching well for Tampa Bay, matching Greinke's 0s through 5. Xavier Cedeno warming up for Houston. Washington's making it tougher on Milwaukee with 2 in the top of the 8th, trailing 7-5 now. Still batting. Roger Bernardina hit his 3rd. Ricky Weeks number 11 for Milwaukee. The Milwaukee bullpen really suspect.
John Axford's in there now.
Some of the scouts who have seen K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, lately say he's pretty much toast right now. 3-2 to Sutton. With the Reds winning 6-2 at Colorado in the 6th, the Pirates trailing here. The runner goes and it's foul. Pittsburgh hoping for a big comeback, but trailing with 2 outs here in the 8th by 6. These 2 teams meet again September 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Pittsburgh. The Pirates are back here the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of September. Swing and a miss. And Cordero comes in to get 2 strikeouts and finish off the Pirates in the 8th with a 9-3 Houston lead.
on Thursday, August 16th, as the Bengals take on Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Then on Friday, August 17th, Matt Stafford and the Lions head to Baltimore to square off against Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Coverage of both games begins at 7 p.m. Central, only on Fox. Bill?
You getting fired up for football, Patty?
I am extremely fired up for football on all levels.
Yeah, that's right. You do have different levels of football to follow. Bottom of the 8th coming here. It's Garrett Hughes. He's 2-0 with a 2.05 ERA.
Stay eligible.
Well, Patty, how does your husband's team look for this year?
Some talent, but we got some knuckleheads.
Scott Moore, the batter. He rolls out to second. And that's out number 1 from Walker. With Hughes just in the game. Hughes an interesting guy to watch. He runs in hard from the bullpen. Very intense.
Yeah. He's locked in, man. 9-3 game. He's not going to change his demeanor. It's his program.
Now Ben Francisco is a pinch hitter for Cordero. Both of them came in the trade from Toronto. Ben is 273, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. Cordero went 2/3 of an inning and he struck out both hitters he faced. Good way for him to get back on track. Wesley Wright 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, with no walks and a strikeout. Francisco looks at it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Phil Boudreau has researched all the way back to early June. Can't find the last time the Astros scored in 5 consecutive innings. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, yeah, obviously the bats have been quiet. Pitching hasn't been particularly good either. I mean, that's how you lose 12 in a row. But the really frustrating thing during the 12-game losing streak is the Astros had leads in 7 of those 12 games.
Yeah.
And most recently, some late leads.
Sharply hit into the left field corner. Francisco into second base, cruising with a double. They've now had hits in 6 consecutive innings. He gets his first double as an Astro. That's a dozen hits for Houston.
Well, score here, Blues is going to have to go back through the scoreboard. It'll be 6 consecutive innings.
He loves to do that. Bogusevic's 0 for 3 with an intentional walk. Ball 1. Wei-Yin Chen set a record for strikeouts by a Taiwanese-born pitcher. He struck out 12 A's pitching for Baltimore. And the Orioles won it 6-1. Shot on a line to right field. Garrett Jones waiting for it. Here's the catch. 2 outs.
Does it say whose record he broke?
Shin-Min Wong.
How many Taiwanese pitchers have there been in the big leagues?
Not too sure about that. But Wong struck out 10 with the Yankees in 07. In fact, the 12 strikeouts is the most by a Baltimore pitcher since the current Pittsburgh hurler Eric Bedard struck out 15 against the Rangers in 07. Chris Snyder has been on 3 times, 2 walks and a single. He scored twice. That's ball 1. He's almost on a 4th time. That one came pretty close to him. Yeah, some of the quotes from the A's and the Orioles players this weekend were, gee, it's nice to be relevant again, as they're both in the wild card battle. Two balls, no strikes. The sensational Angels rookie Mike Trout, a scratch from the lineup today with a knee contusion. Boy, is he fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know how much fun he's going to be next year when you're trying to beat him, but
oh, that's right.
He is fun to watch.
Boy,
There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 major leaguers from Taiwan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers.
Okay. So it's not all that big a deal then.
Well, I just, you can always, it's fun those records sometimes.
Yeah.
He's the all-time winningest pitcher from, the Netherlands.
Bert Blyleven. 3-1. Mike Trout's leading the American League in hitting, 350. And in runs scored, 75.
How many games has he played?
We'll check. But that's the key because
he's done so much.
Yeah, he wasn't brought up until well into the season.
Yeah.
How many other pitchers from Messina, New York, have pitched in the major leagues?
There you go.
So you are probably the winningest.
Probably the winning. Yeah, I hold any number of records, major league records for pitchers from Messina, New York.
Garrett Jones in right with the catch to end the Astros 8th inning. No runs a hit and a man stranded. And it's 9-3 Houston through 8.
Hyundai Fuel Efficiency Drive Sales Event. And as we go to the 9th inning, the Astros have what certainly will be a comfortable lead, 9-3. Chucky Pick is going to take the mound. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies are going to call it, and hopefully the end to the streak, guys.
We need to look back. We're going to do that for the date of the last Astros win. It's been a while since we've been involved, hasn't it, Greg? Here's Chucky Pick with 25 pitches last night. He took the loss. It was that 2-0 win at San Diego, July 16th. That was the last Houston win.
Jay Happ pitched, and Scott Moore drove in both runs with sacrifice flies.
Oh, yeah. So Chucky Pick right back on the mound. And he said today, boy, I felt bad about last night. Well, he got the loss, but in his first inning, he put up a 0, and then in the 8th, he walked McCutchen, gave up a hit to Jones, and left the ball game. And the eventual go-ahead run, and what proved to be the winning run, scored on a Barajas single after he left the game. So now as he comes in, it's 9-3, and the 9th inning opening with Josh Harrison. Harrison doubled in the 7th, and later scored.
Fix a sinker baller.
Strike one. 26 years old from Thousand Oaks, California. One and one. He was claimed on waivers by the Astros just 2 days ago. Made 2 relief appearances with the Cardinals. He talked about the differences in the two teams' clubhouses the day before the game. And you've got those icons in St. Louis, the Holidays and the Berkmans, guys like that. Line drive into left for a hit. Chris Carpenter done a lot of very good things in the majors. Harrison's 2 for 2 now. Marte is 1 for 4. And here, of course, with the changing nature in Houston, and the guys who were the icons have all moved on, Berkman and Oswalt and those guys. So,
yeah, pros and cons to that. As a young player, you come into a veteran clubhouse, and certainly there's a lot of guys you can learn from and lean on, but it can be kind of intimidating as well when you come to a young club like this, and anything but intimidating atmosphere in that clubhouse. A bunch of young guys like yourself trying to establish themselves.
Rolled into center field. Harrison goes first to third on the hit by Marte. 2 men on for Presley now with nobody out.
See the way Fick finishes his delivery, drifted over towards the third base side a little bit, left him out of position on that ball, hit right back through the middle.
That ball was not hit very hard, but it was hit precisely where the Pirates love to see it. Trickle into center field by Marte.
You can tell this is a team that hasn't won in a while. 9-3, a couple guys get on base. Immediately the pitching coach goes to the mound, and Cedeno gets back up in the Astros bullpen.
Yeah. That was hit number 10 for the Buccos. The Astros have a dozen.
Lopez is up as well.
Oh, boy. Presley looks at a strike. He has whiffed 3 times and grounded to third. Yeah, leave nothing to chance to snap a 12-game losing streak. One and one.
Fick drafted by Jeff Luhnow with the Cardinals, when Jeff was running things over there on the player development side.
This one gets away. Harrison comes in to score to make it 9-4 on a wild pitch. Marte to second. Now it's a 2-1 count for Chucky Fick. Still nobody out, and Walker on deck. Presley fouls it. It's 2-2. Miami scored in the bottom of the 10th and held off San Diego 5-4. Ryan Webb was the winning pitcher, beating Brad Brock. Yonder Alonso hit his 5th home run in the San Diego loss. Minnesota dumped Cleveland 5-1. Bouncer first. He didn't get there, and now Marte to third. Fick didn't get there to cover as Downs went over for it, and now it's first and third. It's ruled a hit.
Yeah, mental error, but you can't charge a physical error here. Downs looking for Fick, and Chucky just getting a late break. Well, it wasn't really a late break. Just got beat.
Now Brad Mills is making a move. Cedeno's been warming up. Walker will be batting right-handed instead of left when Cedeno comes into this game. After 3 straight hits here in the 9th inning, the Pirates making some noise. They trail it 9-4. We'll be right back. in the ninth inning with runners at first and third, nobody out. Xavier Cedeno is pitcher number 6 for Brad Mills. He pitched Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Had a day off last night by design, and now he comes in with 1 save and a 2.53 earned run average.
Well, we got Neil Walker, switch hitter, due up, and this will turn Walker around to his weaker side. He's yet to hit a home run as a right-handed batter this year. And then the lefty hitting Jones is on deck and can help. Brad Mills really wants to guard against. Here's one of these two guys popping one, and all of a sudden this fairly comfortable lead is anything but.
Cedeno versus Walker. Walker had the RBI double in the 7th. He also has walked and scored. There's the breakdown on him. Much more potent as a left-handed batter.
Well, Lance Berkman got into one right-handed the other day in Wrigley.
Did he?
Crushed it, yeah.
Was that when they hit 5 homers in the first 5 innings?
It was, yeah.
Strike to Walker. Lance can mash right-handed. He just doesn't do it as consistently. But you know, they've always said he has more power as a right-handed batter. We're going to miss there, and it's 0-2 as the crowd is chanting, "Let's go Astros." Report from Corpus Christi on the hooks. Only one pitcher was drafted by the Astros. 7 have been picked up via trade in the last year. Only 9 of the 27 players period were drafted by the Astros on the hooks. Walker's down on strikes. Nope, foul ball. Got a small piece of it. Fly ball driven to left center field, way back into left center for J.D. Martinez. On the warning track, he hauls it in. Here's the tag at third. Marte scores to make it 9-5 on a sac fly by Walker. Walker gets his second RBI of the game, 50th of the season.
He got one more swing after the foul tip, and it was a productive swing of the bat, but for the Astros, they're just happy it stayed in the yard and they got an out. A trade you'll gladly take at this stage.
You bet. Anything to win. Garrett Jones provided a 2-run homer in the 4th. He's 1 for 4. Altuve made an interesting play on him in the 6th from right field. Presley's not being held on by Downs. Cedeno delivers ball 1 with Casey McGee on deck. Two balls, no strikes. Rays broke through for a run on Zach Greinke in the top of the 6th inning and lead it 1-0 after 6 now with Jeremy Hellickson out pitching Greinke. Right there for a strike on Jones. It's 2-1 now. They're in the top of the 9th in Milwaukee, 9-7 Brewers over Washington. Ground ball, Downs. Now 2 outs. Presley to second base. Casey McGee will be the batter. McGee singled in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 4. Brad Mills coming out to make a move.
Wow, he's really taking no chances.
That's it for Cedeno. And it looks like Wilton Lopez coming in with the Astros up 9-5. Ninth inning, Wilton Lopez will be pitcher number 7 for Brad Mills. He's 3-0. His ERA is 2.54. And since the break, his ERA is 2.70. He was out for about a month with a right elbow sprain, June 11th through July 8th. This is his 8th appearance since he came back. He faces McGee, who's 1 for 4. That's strike one. This is the 3rd straight day for Lopez. He worked Friday to 1 batter, gave up a hit, and then last night 1 hitless inning. Grounder goes foul past Nick Leyva. No balls, 2 strikes. Dodgers 2 in the top of the 4th for Kershaw. The Giants nothing. They're batting in the bottom of the 4th with Vogelsong on the mound for them. Dodgers can create a tie for the lead in the NL West. Mets are leading at Arizona 3-0. They're in the bottom of the 5th for R.A. Dickey. He's given up 1 hit so far through 4.
Could be something right here.
Oh, it is. It's a win for the Astros. To snap a 12-game losing streak, a club record comes to an end. And as they finish this homestand, it's a 1-6 homestand. Wilton Lopez getting the final out. And there are some handshakes for the first time in a while since that 2-0 win on the 16th at San Diego. Marwin Gonzalez a big part of it with 3 hits, 3 runs batted in today. And the final score is the Astros 9, the Pirates 5.